The Fantasy Skirmisher.
Hey guys, this is Nevin. Welcome back to the Fantasy Skirmisher. Today we're going to play the third scenario of the 5-scenario campaign of Last Stand at Mistham. This scenario is called a scouting expedition. Now first let's recap the first two scenarios. So in scenario 1, if you recall, it was our job to rescue Minay, who is the oldest daughter of the village elder. And then in scenario 2, our job was to bring her back to the village safely, and we had to run the gauntlet of orcs and goblins and a couple of other creatures. Once we got back to Mistham, we had a few out-of-game activities that we're able to do. And the first one was healing. And so this applied to all of us, where a village wise woman was able to heal our wounds. And then we had a few options for our player characters. The first one is training, where the PC could use XP to increase, a combat trait that they have. Unfortunately, Dwayne and Rayak did not have enough experience points to be able to level up their respective melee and archery traits. So that left us with archery practice and setting traps. So Rayak has the archery trait, so he was able to teach one villager how to use the bow, and that villager will be used as an extra armed villager for the last scenario. So I thought that'd be helpful. And so that left us with Dwayne and Dimly setting traps of camouflage spike pits, which are going to be used in our next scenario. Now let's read the flavor text for scenario 3. You are concerned that the recent attacks around Mistham had escalated to kidnapping the headman's daughter. Minay seemed to have been deliberately targeted, which implied that the orcs had a plan. You must scout the area around the village, trying to discover the enemy's next move. Now we have the table all set and ready to play. First, we deployed our player characters, our PCs, which are right here. And just off screen is a single goblin. Then have another single goblin here, a horde of goblins. We have Garuk, who is the orc lieutenant, who came back from the last scenario, and he's more powerful this scenario. And we have another single goblin, orc brute. And in the tree line here, we have another horde of goblins. We also have 6 clue markers that were placed randomly, and this is what our mission entails. That is to search these clue markers and find at least 3 clues to be able to bring back to the village. And not all of these are going to be clues. Some of these are going to be traps. So we have to roll on a table and determine if we found a clue or we sprung a trap. And we have a clue right behind the orc here, one in the middle of the woods, one in the rocks. We have one behind the shrub here, and another one behind this rock outcrop, and another one at the edge of this woodline here. All right, I think I'm going to start the scenario with Rayak, my elven archer. And the reason is I've got a lot of close by enemies, and hopefully he'll be able to open a path for us to be able to get to the northern part. And I rolled 2 15s and a 12, 3 actions. That's fantastic. So he's going to use that opportunity to shoot. I think this guy's the closest, 6 inches, about 7.5, and about 12 inches away. So he has to shoot the foe that is in closest line of sight, which is this goblin here. So he's going to roll 1 die. And the danger level for the goblin is 7, not the normal 5. And he rolled a 3. And I felt that. It was something about this green die. As soon as I held it, I knew it wasn't going to do me well. So I'm going to shoot again with my second action. Using the red die, rolled a 13 plus 1 for his archery skill, and the goblin goes down. So he's got 1 shot left, and he's going to shoot at this goblin here. rolls the red die again, rolls an 11 plus 1 is 12, and this goblin goes down. All right, well, we're off to a good start, but I always say that, don't I? And next, I think I'm going to activate Dimly, or try to. So Dimly has the magic dart spell, and the range is 12 inches, and that horde of goblins is 12 inches away. So yeah, I'm going to do Dimly next. So he's also going to attempt 3 actions, and rolled a 1, 6, and a 10. So we have 2 event cards. So the first event is a trap. Now in this scenario, it says that the traps are not in this game. So if you draw the trap card, you just discard it and draw another card. And the second card, or I should say the redrawn card, is Horde Activates. And the closest horde is right here. So they're going to move up 4 inches. And I got to draw another card. And it's also a Horde Activates. So they're going to move up another 4 inches. Getting a little close for comfort there. Okay. Now Dimly, with his 1 activation, is going to attempt Magic Dart. It has a danger level of 10. So that is the target number to be able to cast the spell successfully. And he rolled a 17. So he cast the spell, and when the spell is cast, the caster may perform a single damage 1 range attack at +3 to hit at any one target within 12 inches. So that is what he's going to do. So roll a die, and it's danger level of, he rolled a 1, so automatically failed. Never mind. So there's that. All right, it is now Dwayne's turn. And I think it'd be very risky for her to try to get into melee with this group here. So I think she's going to try to move. And we're only going to roll 2 dice. And she rolled a 4 and a 6, so we've got 2 events. Okay. First one is he's loaded. The monster closest to the PC has double the normal silver points or gem treasure, if any. So we need to mark this goblin here just to indicate that he has double the treasure. And then we draw our second event, and it's a wandering monster, and we reshuffle those 2 Horde Activate cards into the deck. All right, so the wandering monster is our old pal, Avery, and he is stronger than he was in the last scenario. So his danger level is 2 more than his starting, because he came out in scenario 1, if you recall. And each scenario he comes out, he gets stronger by 1 point. So his danger level increases by 1. So we need to choose a random table edge and then determine where he lands on the table edge. So the south here, where our heroes, is going to be 1, and then 2, 3, 4, going clockwise. And I rolled a 2, so he is on the far side, up there. So I'm going to roll 6 and multiply it, and he's 3 inches away. So he is right here. All right, it's back to Rayek, and he's going to attempt 3 actions, so he could try to take out this horde. And rolled a 2 19s and a 12. Oh, great, Rayek. So, of course, we are going to start shooting. They're clearly within 8 inches, so there's no penalty for range. And the danger level is 7 because he's shooting at goblins and they're difficult targets. So the first roll is a 2, miss. Second roll, 13, hit. And 11, also a hit. So 2 of these goblins are gone. In fact, we'll put them down, because I think I at least want to search this one that has double treasure. And now we are back to Dimly. Dimly is going to attempt 3 actions. See if he can take out that last goblin. All right, and we rolled a 20 and a 10 and a 7. And if you recall, if you roll a 20, you could do one of 2 things. You could take an extra action, or you could remove a die to prevent an event. And since we rolled a 7 here, we want to prevent the event, so we're going to remove the 7, and so that leaves us with 2 actions. So first, he's going to attempt to cast Magic Dart, and it's a danger level of 10. He rolled a 3. He's going to attempt to cast it again. Rolled a 16, succeeded. Now it's a +3 attack against a danger level of 7. So rolled a 13 again, +3 is 16 total, and that goblin goes down. And that is Dimly's turn, and now it's back to Edwayne. Edwayne attempted 2 actions last time and got 2 event cards. Let's roll 3 dice, see what we come up with. A 10, 15, and 17. She's got 3 actions. So we are going to move 4 inches, get adjacent to these goblins, and then she's going to do a search action twice. One on the loaded goblin and then the other. See how many silver pieces we get. So we got 6 pieces on the loaded goblin and 4 silver pieces on the other. So she picked up 10 silver pieces. So we'll go ahead and remove these. And that is her action. And we are back to Rayek again. And we need to start moving up the board here because we need to start searching for those clues. So he's going to attempt 3 actions. A 10, 9, and a 5. So we have 1 event. And the lucky event is a scenario event. So the scenario event in this scenario is a Goblin Wolf Rider comes out on the north edge. So we're going to roll a couple of dice. And this scenario event gets removed, and then we reshuffle the event deck. And so here's our Goblin Wolf Rider. I'm going to roll a couple dice and see where on the northern edge he appears. All right, so 8 inches. So he's right behind the woods here. So Rayek is going to use his other 2 actions to move up. So we moved up 8 inches. And now it's back to Dimly. Dimly, if you recall, has the slow trait, which is appropriate since he's a dwarf. And he needs to start moving up as well. So he's going to try for 3 actions. Rolled a 19, 12, and a 7. So we draw 1 event. And the event is monster activates the monster closest to the PC. And that looks like, well, it's either the Orc Brute or the Ogre. So 20 inches. Garuk is 18 inches away. And it's the Orc Brute under the tree. So the Orc Brute is going to move 4 inches to right here. And he's got 2 actions. So I thought I was going to use both to move, but I think he needs to... He's outside of range, so he definitely needs to move up. So moves up 3 inches. And then he's going to attempt to cast Magic Dart. So he needs to roll a 10 or higher. He rolled a 12, and now he's going to do a +3 shooting attack, which deals 1 damage. Rolled a 9 +3, and the Orc Brute has a danger level of 10, but actually it's a little bit lower because of Orc Brutes are vulnerable to magic, and so his danger level is 7 versus spells, which is what this is. So easily hits and does 1 point damage on the Orc Brute. So we're going to put a bead next to him just as a reminder that he has taken 1 damage. All right, now Dwayne, she is going to attempt 3 actions, rolls 3 dice, rolls a 9, 18, and 15. And what can we do here? She's not quite 2 moves away from Garuk. And if we recall in the last scenario, she went up against an Orc Brute, and the Orc Brute reduced her to 0 hit points. Fortunately, she was just severely wounded for the rest of the game and was able to survive the scenario. So I think what we're going to do is detour a little bit, and I don't want her to move too far. So 2 moves is to the tree stump here. But there is a clue right behind this bush, so I think she's just going to go for it. Because after all, that is our goal. It would be nice if Rick could take out that Orc Brute. So he's going to try 3 actions. Oh, yay. And we got 3 event cards instead. So the first one is loss of balance. The PC must perform a DL10 terrain roll or fall prone. So let's do that. And he rolled exactly 10, so he did not trip. So that's good. The second event is not so good. It's an ambush. A minion moves out of the spawning point with bush, boulder, obstacle, etc., or table edge closest to the player character and charges or shoots. So we've got Goblin who is kind of skulking behind a tree here and easily 4 inches. So the Goblin charges and melee ensues. So the Goblin has a danger level of 5, so Rayak needs to... I rolled a 20. Beautiful. Auto success. He could have used his fist on that one and took out the Goblin. And the Goblin is toast. And of course, I'm supposed to leave him here. But I don't think I want to do a whole lot more searching just because things seem to be getting a little dangerous. And we still have 1 event card to go. That may come in handy. Oh, thank goodness. So a random PC spots something on the closest terrain patch. All right, so then we get to choose an object. So let's see. We're just going to roll a d6, and we'll do 2, 4, and then Dwayne is up there. She'll be 5 or 6. And it is a Dwayne. So Dwayne, she spots something, and what do we want? We've already got lockpicks, which we did not use to free Monet, or a key, a secret message, or jewelry worth 3d6. Let's do the jewelry worth 3d6 silver points. So we're going to roll 3d6. All right, and we've got 12 more silver points for Dwayne. Well, so much for Rayek's turn. So let's turn this over to Dimly, and hopefully he'll be able to cast Magic Dart a couple times to be able to take out this Orc Brute. So roll 3d6, rolled a 9, 15, and a 19. So we have 3 actions. Huzzah. All right, so he's going to attempt Magic Dart. Danger level 10, rolled a 20. Oh, nice. It's a bit of a waste of a 20, but at least he rolled it. So he's going to shoot 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a magic attack. So he does hit barely the Orc Brute. So he has 2 hit points, 1 more to go. So his second action rolls a 6, and his third action rolls an 18, so he casts another Magic Dart. So it's another shooting attack plus 3. Rolls a 4 plus 3, 7. Barely hits again, but it is enough to take out the Orc Brute. And Orc Brutes are worth 2d6 of silver pieces if searched. So Dwayne is going to attempt 3 actions because if she can do it, she has just enough movement to go around the bush in contact with the clue, and then to perform 2 search actions to be able to resolve the clue marker. So we roll the dice and rolled a 1, a 9, and 11. So she's got 2 actions, but we first have to draw an event card. And that event card that's a big one. So the foe closest to her has 1 hit point more than normal for its type. And so we need to determine who that is. So we've got the Horde 12 inches away. Yeah, so there's a goblin a foot away right behind her on the other side of the tree here. And that goblin now has 2 hit points instead of 1. And now for her remaining 2 actions, she's going to move around the bush there and come in contact. And she spent 1 action, her last action, to do a search. It's not enough to be able to complete that, so we'll just put her little reminder token right here, and hopefully she'll be able to get it next turn without any problems. All right, these guys have got some catching up to do. So Rayek, he's going to attempt 3 actions. Since he's next to a goblin body, he'll probably use 1 of those to do a search. Rolled 3 dice, rolled a 19, 9, and a 7, so we have 1 event card. And the event card is, I stepped on a scorpion, or snake, centipede, etc. So he must pass a danger level 10 constitution roll or take 1 damage from the poison. All right, so we're going to do a roll. He rolled, promise. It's a 17. So he passed that. So we've got 2 actions left. So he's going to do a search, roll a d6. He rolled a 5. So I got 5 silver pieces, and then he's going to use his remaining action to move. And the question is, what direction? Well, I think we got to split up here. So each player character that searches and finds a clue gains 1 experience point. So I don't want Dwayne picking up all the clues because she would just still get 1 experience point for that. So we are going to move him towards the tree where the orc brute was, and he'll still have some line of sight to provide some support. Now back to Dimly. Also going to attempt 3 actions. 14, 16, and 3. And he got hit with an ambush card. So another goblin comes out, jumps out from behind the trees, charges him, and he's in melee. So he's got to exceed the goblin's danger level of 5 or he gets hit. And he rolled a 7, so it's the goblin that goes down. And he may as well use 1 action to search. Got 5 silver pieces, not too shabby. And then is going to move up 3 movement. All right, 3 inches. Okay. And now to Edwayne. If you recall, Edwayne needs to spend 1 more action to successfully search that clue. She's going to attempt 3 actions and rolled a 6, 7, and a 20. She's definitely going to use that 20 to remove 1 of those dice, but she still has an event card left, and it is a Horde activates. So that would be this Horde here. And who's closest? So we've got Rayek is about 12 inches away. She is 13 inches away, so they're going to charge 4 inches straight for Rayek, which blocks his ability to search the tree for clues there. Rayek sees the Horde coming, so he's going to try to take them out since he's a crack shot. But he rolled 1 success and he's got 2 event cards to draw. Rolled a 3, 6, and a 14. They are at our back. So D6 minions appear on the table edge where the PCs were deployed at the beginning of the scenario. So, Dimly really needs to start moving because they're right behind him. All right, so choose a corner of that table edge and deploy the minions 6 times D6 away from that corner. All right, so I think here's how we're going to do it. We're going to do it from this corner here, where Avavri is. And fortunately, we rolled a 1 and a 4. 1 times 4 is 4 inches. So the Horde is going to go here, but we need to roll to see how many minions appear. And only 2 appear. So that wasn't too bad. So they start at this table edge here. Now let's draw the second event. Mana Flux. Roll a d6 on a 1 or 2. All magic rolls are at -2. 3 or 4, nothing happens. And on a 5 or 6, all magic rolls are +2. And rolled a 2. So all magic rolls are at -2. So that's not good. All right. And finally, for his action, he's going to take a shot at the goblins. Got to make sure within 8 inches. And they are, so there's no penalty for shooting beyond that. He's got to roll a 7 or better. which he did. 9 plus 1 for his archery skill, 10. Takes out a goblin. And I'm going to lay it down there. And that's his turn. Dimley's also going to try for 3 actions. Roll 2 19s and a 3. So he draws yet another horde activates. So they're going to move up 4 inches. They're still charging Rayek here. And Dimley has 2 actions left. Since they moved up, they're definitely within 12 inches, so he could cast Magic Dart or attempt to, but he has to do it at a -2. He's got to do it. So he rolled a 14. So -2 is 12. The target number was 10 for the spell, so now he does a +3 shoot attack. And rolled a 3 plus a 3, which is 6 total, so he missed. So he's going to try to cast another spell, and he rolled a 20, and he is going to hopefully roll that again. Rolled a 13 plus 3, 16. So this is no longer a horde. All right, and almost forgot, lay him down again. And that's it. So we're back to Dwayne. And Dwayne did not get lucky with the rolls last time. All the dice she rolled were events. I think she's going to attempt just to roll 2 dice again. And she rolled a 5 and a 12. So I was wondering about this card. Monster's Frenzy. So all foes in play, including hordes and wandering monsters, activate charging or shooting as appropriate. So I can resolve their actions in any order as chosen by the active player, which is always me because we're playing solitaire. All right, let's move Avery. So he moves 4 inches. And the 2 goblins in the small horde here. Move 4 inches. As does Garuk. And one of his minion goblins moves up. And the Goblin Wolf Rider has a move of 8. So they could get in to battle very quickly. And some of these unique monsters are listed in the back of the rulebook for the Last Stand of Mistham. And you can see that Goblin Wolf Rider has a danger level of 8, 2 hit points, deal 1 damage, treasures 2d6 sword pieces. They're also a difficult target against range attacks, just like regular goblins, but the mounted move. And they have an ability called Charge. If a rider charges into contact with the player character, that the rider's danger level becomes 10 for the first round of combat only. All right, so let's move this goblin 8 inches. And there we go. And for Dwayne's 1 action, she's going to use it to search the clue, because there have been 2 actions that she's done that. So opening up to the scenario, so we have a little chart here. And on a d6 roll of 0 to 4, Dwayne would find 1 clue. If she rolls a 5 or 6, she triggers a trap, and I would roll on the trap table in the core rulebook. And once 3 markers have been revealed as traps, The remaining will all be clues. All right, so let's roll the d6. She rolled a 2, so she found a clue. So that is 1 down, 2 to go, and I'm glad I wasn't a trap because the trap table in the core rulebook, they have some pretty nasty ones. So let's go back to it's Rayek's turn. So we've got that one goblin who's charging after him. So let's collect these d20s and see what we can do about it. 8, 17, and 10. All right. So he has to shoot at this one first. Since this goblin's the closest, danger level is 7. And rolled a 6 plus 1 for his archery skill is 7. This goblin goes down. And he's got 2 actions left. Yeah, it's a little bit too much of a penalty. He's going to use his movement. He's going to use both movements. That'll give him in base contact with the clue marker. That's behind the tree there. Now, Dimly, he's kind of getting left behind. So let's see if we could get him caught up to the rest of the group. All right. I think he's probably feeling a little weakened because of the mana flux. So he rolled an 8, an 18, and another 8. Yes. So we've got 3 actions. We're going to use 2 of those for a move. So that will give him 6 inches. So if we move right here, he's 12 inches away from this goblin who has 2 hit points, not 1. And we'll see if we could take a shot at him with Magic Dart. So we got to cast deal. Oh, wow. All right. So if you remember, the danger level is 10. And I rolled a 12, which I have to subtract 2 because of the mana flux, which is 10. So I made it. So he does a +3 shooting attack. Rolled a 17. And we have a wounded goblin. That will work. And that is his turn. So Edwene, way up here. Let's see what we want to do with her. Well, we've got this charging goblin. First round of combat, he's really tough. I think I'm going to try to move into the wood line here. But I need to see what she can do. So she's going to roll for 3 actions. A 4, 5, and 20. So she's going to use the 20 to remove the 4. And that leaves the 5, which is an event. And the event is Horde activates. And we do not have a Horde. Yeah, we do. We have a Horde on the table. And that's the one here in the corner. And they're going to move, move another 4 inches. And that's it for her. And Rayek, he is next to that clue marker. He is going to roll 3 dice to see if he can get at least 2 actions. And he rolled a 16, 5, and 7. So 1 action. So it's not going to be enough to search the area. And we have a monster activates. So closest to the PC is clearly that Wolf Rider. I think Dwayne's going to be in melee combat before we know it. So this Wolf Rider is going to charge 8 inches. And is really closing in on her. And we still have another event left to do. It is another monster activates. So closest to the PC. So the Goblin Wolf Rider charges right into a Dwayne. And let's change the camera angle to get a little more action here. All right, since the Goblin Wolf Rider charged into combat for the first round, his danger level is 10 and not 8. So we have basically, well, we have better than 50-50 chance with her melee bonus. And she rolled a 15 plus her melee or her fight ability, which is 16 total. So she takes down that Goblin Wolf Rider. Oh, I stand corrected. The Goblin Wolf Rider has 2 hit points. So they are still in melee. So Rayek is going to use his one action to begin his search around the tree for a clue marker. So I'm just going to mark it that one search action has been done. And then it's to Dimly. And what can we do with Dimly? We're going to go ahead, let's just go ahead and try for 3 actions. Rolled 2 11s and a 1. So we do have 1 event. And it's a Monster's Frenzy. All foes in play, including hordes and wandering monsters, activate. Okay, so I think I am going to start with the melee that's going on between this Goblin Wolf Rider. Let's move the camera. And Dwayne. So the danger level is 8 for this Goblin Wolf Rider. The die is rolled an 11 plus 1, 12 total, and that's the second hit point, so this Goblin Wolf Rider is down. And then we go back to the other monsters. So we've got this goblin here. He's the tough guy, but he's got 1 wound. He's going to move up towards Dwayne. Garuk is heading towards Dimly. And of course we can't forget about Avery, who's also going to move up 4 inches. And then lastly, we've got the Horde. We're going to do the same. Now, Dimly has his 2 actions. And, oops. Garuk is definitely within 12 inches now. Should probably start shooting, because I'd hate for Garuk to come into the next scenario because he just keeps getting more powerful. All right, so he's going to roll, see if he casts Magic Dart, rolls a 17, so it's successfully cast, plus 3 shooting attack, rolled a 9 plus 3, which should definitely take him out. I just want to double check Garuk's danger level because he is a little more powerful than he was the last scenario. This is funny. His name is actually not Garuk, but Gargoth. All right, so Gargoth is a danger level 10 originally, but he was came in the last scenario, so he's danger level 11, and so we definitely hit him. Oh, he's also vulnerable to magic, so he's DL 7, so we definitely hit him. So we've got one hit on Gargoth. I do not know why I was calling him Garuk. But if I have another orc character, I'll probably name him that. And we've got one more attempt. One more action. And a 9 is rolled, so he does not cast the spell, and that ends his turn. You know what? I forgot to do something at the beginning of the scenario. If you recall, Dwayne is a heavy drinker, so she was back in the village. She had an opportunity to drink. So in this scenario, I should have rolled the die to determine if she enters the scenario drunk, hungover, or okay. I need to roll a d20, and on a 6+, all is good. She rolled a 19, so I don't have to make anything up now. So she did come into the scenario legitimately sober. Dwayne, she's going to attempt 2 actions. A 4 and an 18. All right, so the event is reinforcements. So D6 minions appear on a random table edge. All right, so let's roll the D4, see what edge. So the north edge. And see how many minions appear. We have 4. 4 goblins show up. Okay. So I think I need to remove a couple bodies. I think we've got plenty here, don't you? And I've got 2 here. So I'm going to roll from the table corner over here. See where they're placed. Because they're on the north edge. I rolled a 1 and a 4. So they came in pretty much where the Goblin Wolf Rider was, just to the north of the woods here. But that's a big horde of 4. So you can see right behind the woods. All right, so that leaves her with her 1 action. And we've got a Goblin, Gargoth, and Avavri kind of sweeping up to the center here, so we need to keep moving. And so she is going to move to the far side over here. Move 4 inches towards the other clue marker. And Rick, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to roll 2 dice and rolls a 15 and a 7. All right, so he will be able to successfully search the area. And we're getting really low on event cards, but they did draw a reshuffle, and it is another wandering monster. All right, so let's see what we got to do for that. So the scenario directions state there's only 1 ogre on the table at a time for the scenario. So what we do instead is place another orc brute. So we just need to determine a random table edge and then how many inches in from a corner from that table edge. All right, so rolled a 1, so it's on the southern edge and is 15 inches in from the table. So it looks like it's going to be right there in the center where our party originally came in from. And here we've placed our Orc Brute. And Rayak has his one action, which he's going to use to do his second search for the clue marker. And we need to roll the die to see if it's a trap. It is not. He successfully searched, found a clue. So we have 2 of the 3 clues that we need. Dimly is going to attempt 3 actions. So we rolled the dice, got 2 15s and an 8. That's going to be helpful because he's got a lot of orcs, goblins, and an ogre at his back over here. And just to his front behind the wooded area is 4 goblins. So I think he needs to start moving towards Dwayne. And so we need to move. So I think he's going to move, first action, he's going to move 3 inches to here. Then move another 3 inches to here. And he's definitely within range to try to cast Magic Dart. So hopefully he'll be able to take out that goblin who has 1 hit point left. So first we need to roll a danger level of 10 to see if we successfully cast Magic Dart, but we roll at a -2 because of that Banaflex card. We rolled a 9, so it did not go off. And that was his last action. Dwayne was headed to the woods when something caught her eye near the rocks there. So I think she's going to move towards the rocks and investigate the potential clue that's there. She's going to roll for 3 actions. Rolled a 12, 18, and 17. All right. That's good news for us because this video is getting a little long, right? So she is going to do 2 moves. And that leaves her 1 action left, which she is going to use to conduct 1 search action. She still has another search action to do to be able to successfully investigate that clue marker. And now we move the action back to Rayak. Rayak, he is going to roll for 3 actions as well, or attempt to. And rolled a 1, a 20, and a 9. So we're going to use that 20 to get rid of that 1, which leaves us with 1 action. And he's going to use that to move towards Dimly. And I think they're all going to move towards Dwayne there. And hopefully she'll find that clue marker and we will be done. I think Dimly is just going to roll 1 die. And roll the 3, so we have to draw an event. And the event is a card we haven't seen before, not in this scenario. Things could get worse. So if the scenario has a complication, that event takes place. And this scenario does have a complication. And that complication is 3 goblin archers. So we need to roll and see where they end up. All right, so we're going to roll table edge. Roll to 4. So it's going to be on the east side, just to Dimly and Rayak's right there. And it's going to be 20 inches up. So the archers are going to be pretty close to them. So getting away from them is going to be very important. All right, so the 3 goblin archers are placed right here behind the tree and moves from Dimly to Dwayne. And she is going to roll 2 dice. And if we could successfully find that 3rd clue, this scenario is over. So she rolled a 1 and an 8. So we do have an event card to draw. And she drew monster activates. So the monster closest to the PC activates, and if it's part of a horde, it will detach. And I think it might be the goblins over here, 11 inches. Yeah, so one of those 4 goblins detach. So let's go ahead and move the camera. All right, so one of those goblins detaches from the horde and moves towards Edwin. And then she searches the clue marker again for the second action. She rolls a die to see if it's a trap, and that is a leaner. So we need to do that again. And rolled a 4, and she found the third clue, and that ends the scenario. The scenario just says we need to find 3 clues. Doesn't say that we have to get off the board afterwards. So we're going to conclude the scenario now.
On returning to Mistham, the adventurers share with Odinel and the village elders what they learned on the scouting mission. An orc warlord had gathered a sizable force in the hills to the north of the village. The arrival of the adventurers had frustrated his original plan, and the setbacks inflicted by the adventurers would most likely have weakened the chieftain's authority. He would want to act fast to demonstrate his power and maintain his reputation amongst his followers. The next action would almost certainly be to attack the village in force. Suddenly, the door to the chamber is thrust open. A breathless Owain stands in the doorway. "Orcs!" she gasps. "They are approaching the village from all directions." Everyone rushes outside. "Odinil, get your people into the refuge. Olwain, take your 2 best archers and get in front of the refuge gate. Cover the retreat and keep the escape route open for as long as possible. Anyone or anything you don't recognize, stick it full of arrows. We will round up the stragglers."